No.
But then I'm going to do something new.
It's actually, like, he gave us the Kespa games.
Is MVP Invitational?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was like, yeah, these
That's
are
like
the
his
games
best strategies?
I was training the hardest and looking to show my best in. So there's no way. There's no way. It was like, oh, yeah, these are throwaway games.
Oh, let's check out this replay. He's like, well, you have to change BattleNet servers because this is an old replay. It's like 2010 from Metalopolis. Like, oh, yeah, I remember Zelnaga Cavern. It's like, oh, yeah, I remember Delta Quadrant.
He has a really good Steps of War build.
It's like, man, he did 2-base road. It's like, no, man, this is, yeah, here's my replay. I don't mind doing that as well.
No, but seriously, that's how confident Sheth is. And you actually made the perfect analogy. It's like showing someone your entire hand history for poker and then still crushing them at the table.
Yeah. It's really cool to see that kind of confidence. At the same time, that's got to be a little bit disconcerting for Hwangsin because there looked like moments where he felt like he could have, if he made a couple of small decision tweaks, it felt like he could have even taken advantages over Sheth. And that's kind of the difficulty of doing things like base trading because so many different branches pop open from just a single decision. Like if you make one decision and you choose to go for one base, should you have killed a tech? Should you have killed a worker? Should you have killed off more of his supply so you can't make units? All those other questions happen, and it comes with experience. And I don't think Hwangsin really planned on a base trade with Sheth.
Yeah, and I used to say Terran was the race you never want to base trade against, but now I'm saying Zerg is the race you don't want to base trade against because we've been seeing all these players just control their Broodlord Infestor army to another level. And that's why you've seen such a huge discrepancy, in my opinion, with the versus Zerg matchup. I mean, if you look at it, Zergs are winning approximately 58% of the time in NASL. In ZVP on Ohana, they're winning 2-1, a staggering rate. And I really feel like it's just their Broodlord Infestor control and how good they've become at this endgame stage.
I also feel like because Zerg can remake workers because of their larva, like, you know, Protoss, if they're down to 1 Nexus, Terran if they're down to 1 Orbital, they have to remake SCVs. And at least then, even Terran has mules. I think the common bottom line, Andre, is just whatever you do, you should base trade with a Protoss player. Yeah. Either way, man, Protoss gets the short end of the stick. They remake workers the slowest, and it takes things to get rolling the longest as well. Hwangsin going for a Forge Fast expand. He's playing this very safe Ohana map where you can kind of get away with Nexus first, but regardless, Hwangsin just going to play it out a little bit more cautiously. Meanwhile, Sheth, of course, going to go for 3 hatchery, pretty standard. Nothing out of the ordinary. But then that brings up a question, Andre. What did you and Hwangsin kind of put your heads together for a map like Ohana? Or did you guys even put your heads together? We didn't. So you didn't coach Hwangsin for this match?
I didn't coach Hwangsin for this match.
Oh.
I sent in the replay, so I was like, oh yeah, we'll train a little bit.
Well, if I knew that, I would have bet on Sheth.
I'm sorry.
I mean, no offense to Hwangsin, it's just that with Gretorp coaching, it's unbeatable.
Oh, Frodan, you're so nice.
I'm turning over a new leaf. I was told that I was the meanest person at this office multiple times. Oh! This is going to be quite mean. Zerglings inside the main base.
Oh.
Andre, this is... it's enough Zerglings to be super annoying. It's 5.
Unfortunate.
Oh, Provolum getting a quick surround.
This will be annoying, but the Cybernetics core is coming up here in a little bit. So as soon as a Stalker comes out in the field, oh, it's a Sentry. So Frodan, he is doing the Robotics Facility plus Sentry drop. It looks like this game around. He hasn't gotten Warp Gate just yet. That's a mistake.
I think he's just he's preoccupied by the Zerglings. This happens all the time. It happens to me all the time as well. When you're trying so much not to lose probes, you forget to add pylons, you forget to start upgrades, and this is where Sheth is getting super far ahead. It's not necessarily that he's killing off probes; it's that he's delaying everything, even down to tech. Because whatever Hwangsin drops, the Zerglings will immediately see, and then as a result, Sheth can prepare. And everyone knows what happens when a Zerg can prepare for a build.
That's right. 4 workers killed so far, and it looks like it's going to be over right now. But still a great job done by Sheth. And here we have, Sheth just knows he's not in danger of anything. He sees everything that he needs to see. 3rd and 4th gas coming down. He sees it's no super fast robotics facility or something like that. He's like, okay, well, ain't no thing. Not a problem. I don't have to worry about like immortal timing. I don't have to worry about a sentry drop because it's going to come considerably later. If you're doing the sentry drop, it needs to come at least at 8 minutes. That's just my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, and the sentry drop, you block the ramp, force field, warp in, kill off workers, kill off tech, save the sentries, because most often they pull drones and the queens.
The most important thing is to just make them not drone up, because you can see 8 minutes into this game, how many drones do we really have? We haven't seen Sheth really be affected at all by this opening. So he has not a lot of saturation on this third. If you can keep it like that and then get your own drones, or your own probes rather, then obviously you're going to be super, super far ahead. But it looks like we have straight up 6 game.
7 game, actually.
7 game.
And I guess Hwangsin is saying he got so thrown. It's really tough because he's going for actually an 8 game. So he's going to be leaning very heavily to zealots and stalkers eventually. Although no, he's on 4 gases. So he's just going to go for a raw 8 gate with lots and lots and lots of sentries. So I guess, do you think this is just because of the opening? He delayed his tech, realized it's a little bit too early to pressure it.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of frustration, but I mean, he respects Sheth. He says, I need to change it up on you, so he's adding it in there. It still looks pretty strong, though, Frodan, I do have to say, but roaches are already on the way out.
Yeah.
A great reaction coming out from Sheth. Kind of missed force fields. That's really unfortunate. You do not want to be missing force fields like that. If you want to look at it like this, if he warps in any... See these two? These 2 sentries right here. He could have warped in non-sentries and just saved those 2 force fields right there. Because these sentries that are warping in, yes, they're only 7 damage each time. 6 if they're unupgraded, but, you know, it's 2 force fields that you're really buying. It's not really going to do that much. And look at this Sheth coming in from behind.
Oh, a couple zealots straggling here, and Sheth does find a nice little pick-off point. At the same time, Hwangsin is completely walled off back at home, so Sheth's counterattack will at least be stalled for a little bit. Sheth's just starting Roach Speed and Burrow, though, so that's going to be the countdown. As soon as Burrow finishes, Roaches are going to be awesome against this force. Hwangsin force fielding, trapping lots of units. Sentries are in front instead of the zealots. Need to kind of rearrange, and he does shuffle around. Hwangsin needs to do this very carefully and try to maximize his efficiency. In fact, you know, this is actually kind of tough to walk down the ramp if Sheth protects it very well.
Oh yeah, units being warped in on the bottom. Nice force field so far, but the roaches are doing a lot of damage over on the right-hand side. And there's a lot of units that are just being funneled in, but great force fields, really trapping all those roaches in. Oh my gosh, Hwangsin, nicely done.
And all of a sudden, the roach count gets cut into half, basically. Only 12 out to the field. A few more popping out. A couple spine crawlers were given not enough time. Actually, not enough time to really even get up. So the static defense is very low. Trapping a few more roaches. All of a sudden, Hwangsin's army is looking pretty intimidating, although his sentry's energy is starting to run pretty dry. Only has around 5 to 6 more. So he has to position himself where he can really maximize his surface area. Sheth now going for a counterattack around the pylon, trying to cut off the reinforcement point, but this third is toast, Andre.
That's right. The third base going down is actually a pretty big blow. Now, Sheth isn't out of it just yet. Glial Reconstitution is going to pick up, and if they go Gateway against Roaches off of 2 base for both of them, Roaches actually win out quite nicely, believe it or not. So, Sheth still has a little bit into this. You can see supplies 127 to 96. I wouldn't count him out just yet, but I would say Hwangsin is pretty nicely ahead. Although taking out those pylons is pretty critical. He can't really continue this attack. Still, he's going to do it right. Just back up from here, get the robotics facility, knowing that there can be Burrow Micro.
Yeah, and of course, when you see mass roaches, immortals are your immediate way to relieve pressure, especially if you want to move out for a 3rd base. I feel like Sheth's still in a pretty good spot. He saved most of his drones. In fact, he's still around. He's at 59/60. Might as well be there. And he does have Infestor Tech out. As long as he's very methodical. And look at that. He even has his geysers up. So he can save drones in that regard as well. So I feel like Sheth still isn't in the worst position. I think if Hwangsin chooses to keep turtling on 2 bases, I would dare say that Sheth actually has a very good chance to still even win this game.
Oh, no. I think Sheth is in a really nice position to win this game. Just to let you guys know, because I've been playing a lot of Protoss and Zerg lately because they've been historically my weakest matchups. when you see this many sentries coming out from the Protoss, you know tech is very limited for them. So if you can stabilize, even if it's off of 2 bases, it's like you have this advantage in your infestor tech, and then you can actually explode off of that, knowing that, yes, they have force shields, but you have the power of fungal. You can shut down most of the beginning advantages, and then from there, really take it in. So going this Roach off of 2 base actually stabilizes you pretty nicely, and then after that, if they don't go Colossus immediately, they're in a lot of trouble. And I feel like even this Colossus right now is pretty late. The 3rd base should be stabilized by Sheth, and he should just be saying to himself, well, just continue on the game naturally. Because I know my opponent really doesn't have the ability for any 3 base pushes, since this 3rd base is going to be mined out pretty soon here. And by that time, I should be all the way to high tech, and I don't really need minerals when I'm going into high tech. I need gas. That's the most important thing.
Just 3rd base is about to finish. Hwangsin just about to start his. Sheth going on a little bit of a counter-aggression, realizing his opponent's trying to expand, so this is historically when you want to, I guess he wants to deny this 3rd base, and you can keep Protoss on 2 gases. That's historically very strong for Zerg. Force seals to prevent the Roaches from moving forward as well as escaping. Infested Terrans popping in, and the Fungals can land on the Sentries. Sentries can't go anywhere. Sheth has a nice ability to kind of whittle down the Protoss force and prevent any kind of aggression, although he's committing a lot of supply. Very well done by Hwangsin with his force field placement.
That attack is really, really out of position. Again, Protosses should be going up to Colossus. So what Zerg should be doing is just going Infestor, Roach, and then Corruptors. I feel like that was a little off-timed. He should have backed up from here. Now Hwangsin is actually having the initiative over here with the War Prism. This is going to be his main advantage this game. As you know, the turn events have occurred, he should be able to warp in and just keep his opponent defensive. From there, Hwangsin should realize I not only have timing attacks, I also have the ability to take expansions as I please. So I really like what we're seeing from Hwangsin so far. He's going ahead, being aggressive. Behind this, a 4th base could potentially be taken. So I love like the just potential mix-up that could happen. Hwangsin taking fantastic position over here with 2 Colossus. He does have thermal lance. Yes, he does. And against a mainly Zergling army with not a lot of infestors, Sheth's going to be having a very tough time.
Sheth has a few Corruptors popping out, just like you said, +2 about to finish, so Sheth's army is as strong as it'll be for the upcoming fight. War Prism as well, nice rally point as well on top of the ramp, forcing really safe, strong concave for Hwangsin, but lots of infested Terrans and Fungals. Force Field's also pushing away more Roaches so they can't attack, although the Colossus count has dwindled, so it's all up to the Stalkers and this one lone Immortal. Does Sheth have enough? He's rallying more Zerglings into the battle. He also has another Infestor popping out, but he's also low on energy, although a lot of this Protoss army is very weak as well. I think Sheth's been able to whittle down the numbers, but the Stalker count is still very high from Hwangsin.
Yeah, it's looking really good from Hwangsin, actually. Yes, there's a ton of Zerglings, but all Hwangsin has to do is reinforce with a pack of Zealots, and he's good. And he does in Sentries. I'm not too keen about that. He just have to walk through. Yes! Kill the Disrupt the Rocks.
Yeah, just kill the rock.
Kill the rocks.
Kill the rocks. If you walk down the ramp, you get fungled. Those units are as good as dead. So.
Yes, sir.
Expand your ability to move down the ramp, and there you go. It's a little bit less crowded, less claustrophobic, and as a result, let those babies breathe.
Yes, sir. And now there are force shields again, kind of whiffing them. You don't want to actually whiff them. Save them for the main battle. This is just so many sentries, Frodan. And I'm actually really scared because this attack is actually looking really, really scary. Again, force shields coming in here. You need to actually punish your opponent, but it's not happening in Fester. Look at that, so clever, just going ahead and burrowing. But from here, Hwangsin has no main advantage. It's going to be tough.
If Hwangsin kills his base and deals with the army, maybe keeps the Infestor count low and saves some of his units, then he's in great position. But if Sheth kills this army, Hwangsin has nothing defending at the 3rd.
That's exactly
actually
right.
And it's a wide open area to the natural as well, to the backdoor ramp. Sheth wants to do this very carefully. Ooh, one Infestor does barely manage to escape after catching a couple sentries with the fungal. Still a very delicate balance. Sheth waiting until basically he's maxed in order to push. And this 3rd base is at its last few hit points. Another couple of Infestors get trapped. But at the same time, Hwangsin's burning lots of his force field energy. He won't really be able to do more than 1 or 2 more waves.
And here we go, the big attack. Fungal Growth goes on top of a lot of the units, but good force fields actually trap off a lot of the units coming from the right-hand side. You can see it's just so hard for Sheth to engage against this because of the power of force fields. and now we might see the big attack, but Sheth needs to be so careful with this. It's really tough for both these players, but going up into the main forces
that's
the
a
fight.
risky spot. He can get flanked from multiple positions. Infestors coming in from the right to also land the fungal sentries in the back. Can't run anywhere. But Hwangsin, are his Guardian Shield enough to prevent the damage from coming in?
Oh,
more reinforcements coming in from the Warp Prism as well. But the infested Terrans are doing so much damage. No real form of AoE to clear. And that gives Roaches free reign to DPS. It's still extremely tight. But it looks like Sheth will be okay with the rallying Zerglings.
Wow, it's still going to be really tight though, Frodan. I don't know if Sheth can hold this. It looks like Hwangsin is going to have to back out from here. But again, as you said, losing all these units is very crippling. And there you have the Warp Prism's going to get taken out, given a little bit of chase. Roaches are still going to be taken out.
Yeah, but it's just Stalker Sentry against the Zerg army that has Infestors to help boot it. I mean, these Stalkers don't even have Blink. And that's just decreasing your ability to even escape. I mean, the Stalkers are just getting picked off. Zerglings will keep chewing away at the army. Hwangsin trying to kite. He doesn't even have SimCity III to really help defend. He might just have to give up this base.
If he gives up the base, he's dead. That's what it comes down to.
But he can't really defend this base either.
It's tough. But at the same time, Sheth doesn't have any indicators to let him know that that third is actually capable of being taken out. But when it comes down to it, we're at low economy against low economy. You can see Sheth is actually mined out of his natural. The third base not going down is a big blunder by Hwangsin. He did such a great job at actually staying right here. This path right here gives him the retreat option to the top left-hand corner. But going into the natural, this is very unnecessary. And as you said, being attacked into that position, I mean, you can be flanked by so many different directions. Still, I think Hwangsin is recovering pretty nicely. But when you're in low eco against low eco, let me tell you how effective Infestors are. Not only are they the most cost-efficient units in the game, they are able to just do brutal blows, not only with infested Terrans, but fungals. They just grab everything, and it gives the chance for Zergs to always choose where they want to have their engagement. So again, we are seeing a little bit of engagement right here, but Sheth should just realize, okay, that's not a position I want to attack into. But no, my natural is mined out. That means my opponent is probably going to be mined out. It's not yet, but give it about 4 minutes and it will.
Very scrappy game from both players. Hwangsin now starting to upgrade that critical blink. Again, just because a lot of times you're going to lose those heavy hitting units. You have Stalkers remaining. You need to make them very cost efficient. At the same time, just like you said, will it even matter to the Infestor count? Sheth's been very good about keeping a high count, similar to what we've been seeing out of almost every Zerg nowadays, especially Dark and NASL. A big proponent of Infestors, getting upwards of 20, 30, maybe even 40 Infestors at one point.
That's right, and you know what? Sheth is the one that gets to say, okay, you come at me, because all he has to do is press G on that spire, press H on that hive, which gets the hive, and then gets the greater spire, and then it says, come at me, because if you sit off of 3 base, or at least off of 1 base, you're dead. You have no way of dealing with me. And right now, there are no pre-hive timings, since Templar Archives is just now starting to come out here. And Infestors are just too plentiful. I mean, this Infestor army is scary. I don't care how many Colossus you have, really, because that Infestor army can actually fungal and mow down everything with Infested Terrans. So,
what if I had 17 Colossus for 17 Infestors? Still not scary?
Okay, Frodan. Okay, Frodan.
Hey, have you ever seen that that UMS map? It's like 200 supply of Colossus takes on 200 supply of Warhounds. Did you see that? Can you guess who won?
Definitely not the Colossus.
The the Warhound. It was crazy. It was like even 200 supply of Immortals couldn't take out 200 supply of Warhound. But I do miss the Warhound. I would like to see at least another mech unit of some sort, if it's not the Widowmine. Force Fields to kind of block out the units to make sure they can't engage. Hwangsin needs more time, but time is not a resource that he can afford. He has a couple of more force fields, but realistically, Sheth is also getting stronger. He's building up more Infestor energy, and this is just super tough because he doesn't have a strong form of AoE to even deal with mass Infested Terrans. If Sheth chose to go for it, it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Force a fungal and some Infested Terrans, weaken some of the units.
Yeah, I like that, trading energy for energy. Remember, as soon as he throws down a fungal, it actually forces Hwangsin to react to that and say, oh man, I need to throw down more force fields. But here it is, the main engagement. The Colossus is going to be taken out immediately. Nice storm to pick off some of the infested Terrans, but watch. Oh my god, Frodan, there's going to be so many more infested Terran that pop up here. And remember, they're free units. Immortals don't do well against them. Stalkers don't do well against them. Archons do okay, but look at just how many there are taking a page out of Dark. And the third base is going to be compromised.
He's still got four infestors with full energy ready to go. He's still got 20 or so more infested Terrans if he needs to. He's just reserving some for the Fungals. Hwangsin has no real answer to the Roach and infested Terrans with +2. Sheth even has Hive to follow it up, so I mean, okay, let alone the 30 Roaches. Hwangsin is in a world of trouble. No real way to hold on to this third base. And just like you said, Hwangsin is not mining really after this base drops. He's got no minerals. He does have geysers, but even then, that he can't really sustain any kind of army reinforcements. The supply looking very grim. Hwangsin does manage to snipe the base in the bottom left, which is a nice constellation with that Warp Prism. But Sheth is just, I mean, he's in full control. There's really, what can Hwangsin do other than pray and hope that Sheth accidentally DCs or something?
That's it, man.
It's like only Blizzard could save me now, and Hwangsin realized the futility in that statement. Just kidding.
Oh, Frodan, how could you?
No, Hwangsin is, I mean, he played pretty well, I think, considering his early attack, but just like you said, Andre, if he took out that third, I mean, it's a different story. I mean, this third wouldn't be able to give Sheth any economy. He would be focusing everything on double expanding. He wouldn't be able to be aggressive as much, you think?
Infestors, man. Doesn't matter. The infestor count right now is just an alarming. Oh my god, 11 more. Let me check that units tab. 16. I'm gonna wait until that pops to 27. Come on, pop. 23.
What? I don't know what you're talking about, Andre.
There's
the infestor count. Yeah, infestor count's still really high. Greater Spire's morphing as well. Sheth's still putting on lots of pressure, and why not? I mean, just like you said, trading energy for, I guess, energy. Storms doesn't really matter. It's a rainy day, Andre, in Ohana, but enough to make the Zerg weather the winner. GG, well played, as Sheth takes game number 2 in a 2-0 victory. Now, Andre, you did tell me that Hwangsin was really looking forward to even winning NASL. He was messaging me on Skype saying, yeah, I'm super excited for the games. I've been practicing really hard, and cheer for me because I'm going to win NASL. He told me this on Skype, and I'm like, yeah, man, go Hwangsin. I didn't hear anything from him a week, so it seems like he missed some Gretorp coaching.
I knew something was up because I haven't talked to him since Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or Wednesday. I'll be like, Hwang, how you doing? Okay.
He didn't respond to anything, so. Game number 2 is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to nasl.tv/p/audible to download a bestseller for an audiobook. We'll be back right after a set of commercials with the C update as well as our next match finale versus Night End.